Hey everybody, how's it going? Brbteabreak here with a first impression of Marvel Puzzle Quest Dark Reign, a free-to-play game which you can find on Steam at the moment and on smartphone devices, including Android. It's in the same way of Candy Crush, which is a rip-off of Bejeweled, and add a small gimmick into the game. Now, I've only played Candy Crush for about half an hour, so my comparisons between both games could be slightly off, but as I said, this is a first impression, so take everything with a bit of grain of salt. Also, this game is a work in progress, so everything you see in this video might change in the future, and hopefully they will slightly as we go on. I'll tell you about that. So the gimmick in Marvel Puzzle Quest is that you have a team of heroes, and you fight your team of heroes against the computer or other people's real teams, but they're controlled by the computer also. Not sure if there's like a live versus mode, which would actually be really cool, and you perform damage by getting 3 or more of the same color in a row connected together. That's how Bejeweled works. And this increases in damage based off the color and obviously the amount you have. And the idea is to mix up your team so they have synergies and they work together. I'll talk about that a bit more later. So first we'll go over, this is the PC port, so we'll go over the options. There's no options, there's window mode, and there's actually a lot of resolution options, which is quite impressive actually. If you still play in a, on a CTR monitor in 4x3, there you go. You got your audio sliders, but this game will run on a phone, so shouldn't be too worried about if it will work on your computer. So that's alright. And we'll get into here. That's how you start the game, obviously. And you'll notice there's no, look, I'm hitting on my keyboard, no keyboard functionality at all. It's all based off using your mouth. Of course, this is just a direct port probably from the smartphone, so it'll all be touch orientated. And first we'll go over microtransactions. And this is probably where the biggest issue with the game comes into, in my opinion. That sentence made no sense. So anyway, microtransactions are very plentiful in this game, to say the least. They're coming out of every orifice, pretty much. Now you have your premium currency, which is the gold up here, which is just called gold, I guess. And then you have your in-game currency, which is ISO 8. I'm not too sure. I don't really know Marvel lore that well. So you can use the ISO 8. You can use ISO stuff to buy a champion or a hero here. So that's 500 ISO. That's pretty cool. Or we can spend 300 ISO, or 300 gold even, which equates to about $3 when you get to microtransactions, because the real-life currency, obviously you have to spend real-life money to afford, and it gets slightly cheaper the more you spend. You can spend up to $100 for 20,000 gold. $100 microtransaction. Just, it boggles the mind, really. Now, ISO can also be purchased, and it starts at about 500 ISO for $2, and now you're like, oh, isn't that better? $2 instead of $3 to get this a new hero. But the thing is, if you spend the gold one, you get a hero starting at 2 stars or better. If you use the ISO one, it starts at 1 star and it could be better. So obviously there's a massive advantage if you use real money. So look right here, I could get my level 1 Storm from the ISO pack, or a level 30 Wolverine. Level 30 takes a long time to level characters up in this game, as you'll see later on. And it gets worse. So say if I really like Iron Man, and I want the Iron Man best character thing. I go over here, 1100 gold to guaranteed level 40 model. I'm not too actually sure what the level 40 model is. I'm guessing that's the best like stats you can have. I'm not too sure. That's around $10. And the biggest issue, in my opinion, is if you like Iron Man, that's cool. But what if I'm a really big fan of Thor, for example. Not really, I don't know. But let's say I'm a big fan of Thor. I maybe not be able to get him. I think here. No, I can maybe get him in this random pack. So I'm hoping that I get Thor in this random pack of cards, and I might have to spend $100 until I get a Thor card, which is a bit of an issue. In games like Hearthstone, which is another free-to-play card game, if you don't get your the character you want, the card you want in a pack of cards, you can disenchant certain cards, and then you can get that card you want through dust, and it's very easily accessible and easy to get. So we'll get out of here. That's a bit of, I'll show you the microtransactions up here. Obviously, the more you spend, it does get better. Obviously, dollar to gold or ISO wise, but it's still very, $100 is a lot of money to spend on microtransactions. So we'll back up here and we'll go to my team here. So I got Iron Man, Black Widow, and I got Storm. And you obviously, as you play this, you level up, you get them stronger and whatnot. And to level them up, you play the game. But you don't play the game for the experience. You play the game for ISO. ISO is this stuff. And as you can remember, you can purchase ISO with real-life money. So, in theory, I could just spend $1,000 and get Iron Man to level... I'm getting maybe 30's max? Let's say level 30's max. I get Iron Man to level 30 instantly if I really wanted to. And it doesn't end there. So let's say he's Iron Man, he's level 30. Let's say level 30. Max level 6, I'm not sure. Let's just go with it. So I get him to max level using all my ISO. But now all his skills, because there's skills in this game, which I'll talk about when we get into the combat, you have to spend real life money on these also. Now I have gotten one upgrade for the Armored Assault pack thing with the, I think I did? Yeah, I did. Just for going through the single player campaign. And I only can assume that you only get these base upgrades probably for the main characters you begin with, which is Iron Man, Storm, and either Hawkeye or Black Widow. That's a bit of an issue right there. And this all directly like correlates to how well you do in the game. As you level up, as you see down here, these are the type of gems that are in the game. I'm gonna call them gems, that's what they are. So, you know, for yellow gems, red gems, I do 4 damage. Blue, purple, and whatever that is in the corner there, I do 3. And green and black, I do 2 damage. And the M is actually a crit multiplier, which can be summoned, I guess, in a way, based off some abilities that some heroes have and whatnot. So as I level up, let's level up Iron Man 1 level. We'll see our stats will go up. So our red damage is now 5. So really, you can get a lot stronger just by just leveling your character up. And it's kind of leads to certain imbalances, I guess, if you just use your money to pay for the game. You can sell your character later on, and it does actually scale up the more you level your character up, which is actually it's pretty interesting. But let's say Repulsion Blast, it does 68, it does 100 damage here. This also scales up as you level, so it's 100 damage here. If I rank up, it'll do 105 damage, which might seem small, but obviously, you know, those small numbers do come into large effect later on. And also, see at the bottom here, I have health, and you're like, why is it showing me my, you know, total health and then the health I have? Because as you play the game, obviously you get hurt in combat, and say I go to 300 health, I have to regenerate that health over time. And it's not percentage based, I'm pretty sure. It's actually based like a number. So like, say you get 1 health every 3 seconds. So if you lose 400 health, you're going to a fucking long time. You have to wait for your hero to revive, and you have to wait for your hero to heal. So this is very much like Candy Crush, where obviously, I think Candy Crush, you lose 5 times, you have to pay or wait to get more turns. When this game, it's the same. You can wait to get more turns, or you can use microtransactions. But you have lots of heroes, you can swap your heroes in and out, so it's not as bad as Candy Crush. But obviously, if you got lots of people damage on your team, it can become a bit of an issue when everyone's on like 5 health, and really, you have nobody alive at that point then. And that's when it comes down to microtransactions. But the coolest thing I think about this game is all these synergies. So say, this is kind of biased, but because Iron Man's level 4, but let's say, let's go to my Storm character. Now Storm, at level 1, let's level her up. I can't level her up, I don't know why. Train your powers to increase your max level. Huh? I want to level up. Okay, I'm not sure why. But anyway, say Storm at level 1 has 3 green. At level 4, she might have 6 green damage. So when I have green gems on the board, if I have Iron Man out front, if I link, say, 3 greens in a row, actually Storm will jump in because Storm will do more damage with those green gems than Iron Man would. And also, these skills use different color gems. So Storm, her basic ability here, costs 10 green gems. Where Iron Man one, it costs 10 red gems, and this one over here costs 8 yellow gems. And they all have 3 skills, and every hero has different skills. And these synergies, I think, can be really interesting later on. And you can build teams around it. So like Dr. Doom, for example, which is an enemy. I'm not sure if you can get him yourself. He changes 2 red gems to become damage over time abilities. And every turn he does, he gets damage. He deals damage to the enemy player. So you could have Dr. Doom, and you could say the enemy's about to link up, you know, the red gems so they stop doing damage. You could use Storm, whose ability is just to destroy random gems on the field to screw his like pattern up, and he might be able to destroy your red gem. All this stuff really correlates well together. And say those red gems are a problem that Dr. Doom summons, you can use Hawkeye to clear a whole row out. So there's lots of like synergies in this game which could be used to counteract your opponent's moves. So which actually is really interesting, and this is probably the best bit of the game in my opinion, having all these cool things you can do together. So enough about microtransaction, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the game. And as you can see, there's quite a large story here by default. I'm around the end of this hammer mission thing, which you get upgrades for, and there's repeatable missions to get extra ISO. But as you can see, each of these, they're like arcs and have different stories. So there's a lot of them here. Also, I'm guessing these get changed often. As you can see, it's only lasts for 9 days. I'm guessing it gets changed after. And these are actually competitive leagues in a way. I open this up, and you verse other people. But you don't verse them live, you verse their teams, which is a bit of an issue. So let's say we're going to fight Gabriel, 447, and this is his team. And now we have 3 chances to beat him, and if we beat him, we get ISO. So that's always really cool to level up our characters and whatnot. This story is there. I read a bit of it. I got kind of bored. I'm not the biggest Marvel fan in the world. Also, none of it is voice acted, and that's a real shame. You know, I understand this is a iPhone game, but Marvel usually has pretty good voice actors in all their games. You know, things like Marvel vs. Capcom and whatnot. And even I think the latest Marvel Brbteabreak clone thing has voice acting in it. So yeah, that's the end of that. So let's get into actually some gameplay here. I'm going to skip the cutscene here because I don't want to spoil too much. But we'll just do a mission I've already done. Let's get in here. As you can see, I can repeat it more than once. And this time I get 50 gold for doing this mission. So you can get gold playing the game, obviously. So here's our people. As you can see up here, this is where you buy more life. I think it is 1 life every 30 minutes. So, you know, take that as you will. It's a full heal, so it revives and it heals. So say if everyone on my team gets damaged slightly, if I want to full heal my full team, I have to use 3 of them. So it uses a lot, but I don't need my whole team to really be fighting. And I also can swap in other people from... You can have other character slots, which... It does cost money slightly, but you can have 4 by default, and it costs 50, which is pretty reasonable for another character. But you can't use ISO, which is a bit of an issue. Where everything else you can use ISO also. Let's replay this mission. We'll get in here, and let's start fighting. So yeah, here's the story. We'll skip that. We don't want to spoil anything. And here we go. Now, he has different type of people on his team. He has a soldier and 2 assassins. They have abilities. Now, these NPCs, which are like not hero or villain based, usually have gimmick abilities. So this one will damage me after a certain amount of turns, but he puts it on a gem. So this green gem will become like a bomb in a way. And then after, say, 6 turns, the bomb will damage me. So yeah, that's that. And as you can see, these are all my heroes here. And I actually can rearrange the order these enemies are in. So if I want to kill the assassin first, who probably does the most damage, I'll target him first. And you can see here are all the color gems, and they all have icons on it. So these circle ones are Iron Man. So it means if I use an ability with this icon on it, Iron Man will be up front. Right now it's Black Widow. But if I use the purple one, Black Widow go to the front, and same go to the green one, Storm will be at the front. So the game wants me to move these ones. Let's move these ones around. So I do 12 damage because each blue gem is 4. And Iron Man goes to the front because of this. And now, if the enemy does a damaging ability, Iron Man will take the damage. So let's try and here are the skills. I need either 10 red, 10 green, or 10 purple gems. So let's try and link all these purple. There's a lot of purple gems on the field. So let's try and link these purple ones up. And that way we can use an ability. And obviously you want to get the largest combos possible because that way it multiplies and you get cool bonuses and whatnot. So I'm not very good at these games, so it's going to be kind of slow, guys. I apologize for that. So there's that. And here's the enemy ability. So after 5 turns, you do 38 damage to whoever's at the front. And you cannot actively swap your characters, but you can swap them through changing who's attacking. So that's the only way. So I kind of want to save. Either I gotta clear this gem really quickly, or I want to put Iron Man at the front when that ability is going to go off. So let's keep swapping these around. Iron Man's at the front now, and there's another one going off. And this can get very overwhelming very quickly. This is where Hawkeye comes in handy, for example, for clearing these lines out. So let's go... Oh god, I'm awful at this. There's that. What else have we got here? Okay, awesome. Do a bit of this. And so, next turn, I'm going to take 38 damage to whoever's at the front. And so we want to try and keep Iron Man at the front. We have to do a move. So we're going to try and find something with the circles. Which I don't know if there is any. This one, I'm not sure. It says Black Widow shadows to charge high-tech powers. And these are weird gimmicky abilities that are on certain maps, which are actually here. And I can make one random thing a crit tile, or pretty much this is how you win the game instantly. 150 damage to everybody, plus destroying 21 random tiles, which also deal damage maybe. I'm not sure. The Storm one does deal damage, but this one does 150 damage to all enemies. So we'll get back to over here. Let's keep linking our shit up. Let's try and get a skill work going up. So let's go... I really want to do Iron Man's one. It's a pretty good ability. Oh, to pick up Black Widow's one. I've actually done this yet. So aggressive recon. Natasha goes underground to find her opponent's secrets. She steals 2 yellow, blue, red, and green gems, which are AP in this, undermine their ability. So they have 6 green gems, for example, and I want to steal them now. We're going to do this. We steal 2 gems, and now we have those 2 gems. And this is the gems you have in your inventory. Inventory, I guess you'd call right now, to use your abilities. Let's start linking these up again. Try and get these red ones up. Try and get Iron Man to use its super cool ability, which does massive damage to the enemy. Black Widow's getting destroyed right now, but she'll be alright. She'll get through it. Yeah, he's very tanky because he leveled up a lot. And we look all these up, and it's much like Bejeweled, you know, you slink these up and they do their thing. And the only issue I have with this compared to something like Bejeweled or Candy Crush is that you have no control on what the enemy does. And right now I've been forced to try and save this bottom right green gem down here. What if I don't want to? What if I have a massive combo over here? Too bad, I have to try and fix this thing in this corner down here, or I probably will lose the game. And this isn't as bad when you're versing these type of NPCs, but if I do a gameplay of Dr. Doom, he attacks every turn in between. So he actually moves all these things on the board around. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a 4 combo down here. Doom's like, fuck you. He moves the thing in there and he gets a 4 damage combo on you instead, which can be pretty devastating. As someone who likes score attack games, that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. You know, I like getting the big scores. You know, but Bejeweled, you have 2 minutes, you're like going crazy on the screen, hitting the massive combos, and this one, it just kind of undermines itself in that way. What else do we have on the board? I really forget about these gem ones. We've got to do these also. Oh, here we go. We can clear out this green thing here. And one of their heroes have died. Use your environment. Yep. Thank you, game. We clear that, and now that ability will not go off. And in theory, you can take 0 damage from these type of missions if you do the objectives well. We are not doing the objectives well, as you can see. So we're not going to be able to do that. Someone is going to have to get destroyed here. That's fine, though. Whatever. Iron Man at the front. Oh, he kept swapping around, but Iron Man did end up being at the front. Now, as I said before, if the enemy attacking you, that can be seen in a good or bad way. Because, you know, in Candy Crush, you link up all these massive abilities in the future, and Bejeweled, you think, you know, what's going to happen next. But when you play this, you have to, it's like chess nearly, where you have to think, you know, 3 turns in advance. What can my enemy do in order to counteract what I'm doing right now? And they might not do the most logical things, because obviously they're NPCs, but it's still, they have the same thought process when you play it. And you gotta think, if I do this here to get a 4 in a row next turn, will the enemy use that 4 in a row? Will I die? Will my wrong character be at the front? Will that character die? It's really interesting. And that's always cool. And we're getting, oh, we have these abilities. I've been forgetting about these abilities. So some come from being very cool to quite boring. Iron Man, 100 damage straight up. It doesn't use a turn that's at 100 damage. I can stock these up as many as I want. So I could do 3 in a row if I wanted to. 100 damage is a lot, but something like Storms is very interesting. So say if they have a massive, say they get a 5 green one down here next turn, and I'm like, shit, I need to, you know, fix this up. I could use this ability, and it could screw all his patterns up, and might be able to get that 5 combo now. And it also does damage based off what gems I kill, which is very weak damage because Storm is level 1. Let's get this 4 in a row here, linked up. Always awesome, cool. And yeah, that's the only problem. The hero abilities have synergies together, but some of them are quite boring. Dr. Doom is interesting. Black Widow's one was very interesting actually. Storms is interesting. Iron Man's quite boring. He has another ability which makes it so you take 1 less damage, is it? Yes, I think it's 1 less damage. Unless it's changed when I level up. Let's just try it out. It does. These gems become protective gems now when it comes up here. So I take 2 less damage while you're on the field. And I can spam this, so I might be able to take, you know, I take 4, now it's 8, next turn it's 12. It's pretty interesting in a way, but not as cool as something like Dr. Doom where I can have like lots and lots of these dots and they get destroyed while I use Storm to break up their pattern. So let's move this, let's try and finish this round off. Now, is this game fun? Maybe? I think it's blatantly obvious this game is made for, you know, while you're sitting on the toilet. You know, you're on the bus, you're at school, you're at work, you're like, I need to just, you know, muck around for a bit, I need to play some games. And you can just play this game. It's a good game on the phone. But it's just, as the PC port goes, I probably wouldn't play this over playing any other game that I have on my computer at the moment. You know, this game's made so you play for 10 minutes, you come back 10 minutes later, your characters are healed up, and you keep playing. But yeah, that's the problem. Is that when you're playing on the computer, you don't play for 10 minutes bursts. You play for half an hour at least, you know, or an hour onwards, at minimum. So that's a bit of an issue when it comes to this kind of game. Would I play this over Candy Crush though? Definitely. I'd recommend this infinitely if that was a way to recommend something over Candy Crush. This game has, this is an elements. It has this is very interesting. I love this combat system and how these synergies that can work with my team together. Where you Candy Crush, you literally can pay infinitely, play forever. You can just keep playing for 5 more turns to end up finishing a game and use really gimmicky pay-to-win methods. In this, you can say, oh yes, I can pay to make my Iron Man level 100, or whatever the max level is. But if later on, if I'm only linking 3 of the same gems together, I probably will still lose the game, just because how the game works. Like if I'm Dr. Doom, he has like 6 of these red things that damage me over time, and I'm not clearing them out, I'm gonna lose the game. That's how it works, you know. So this is much better in my opinion than Candy Crush, and also this has the Marvel IP behind it. Marvel, you know, it's a very big deal if you're not aware. And this helps the game infinitely when you play it. So if you need a game to play on the toilet, check this game out. It's not awful. You know, I'll probably download this on my phone later on to play. I have nothing on my phone to play, and there we go, victory. So it's not awful. We're gonna skip this so you guys don't miss any of that. And here's our reward, 50 gold. Oh, I got 20 ISO. Come on, you son of a bitch. Have I got all the rewards? If I click on this, which one did I just do? I did this one. So apparently the reward's random. So I didn't actually get the reward I wanted. But yeah, it's not an awful game. It's not awful. You can check it out on Steam. You can check it out on the Play Store, the Google Play Store, and you can check it out on the iOS Store. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a like or even subscribe to the video and comment below what you think about this Marvel game in general. Do you think this is good? Do you prefer this over Candy Crush? Do you prefer Candy Crush over this? Do you play Bejeweled? Or do you just want to, are you just more into the hardcore games? You know, I don't usually play these kind of casual games, but this isn't awful. I might put it on my phone, you know, when I'm outside for, you know, the one time a week I go outside, I might play this. Maybe, I'm not sure. This is Brbteabreak, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.